This is the European edition of the Ninebot F3 Pro, sleek, agile and packed with Segway's latest smart tech. But is it just flashy on the outside, or does it really deliver where it counts? I've tested everything, so let's inspect. Hi everybody, so good to meet you. Michael here, the Tech Mishka, and this is a scooter which can make you smile, or at least that's how I felt. It brought back the joy of riding a city electric scooter once again. So, which are these things that make it special? Which are the mods that I've applied? Which are the best, the worst features? Basically, everything you want to know about the Ninebot F3 Pro. Let's ride and find out together. Under the deck, the F3 Pro packs a 1200 watt peak motor with 25 km/h top speed and surprisingly strong torque. Acceleration tests right from the start, and apparently F3 Pro E has the capacity to compete with some dual motor setups. Really important to highlight that this here is the F3 Pro E model, and E stands for the European version, I guess. It's aligned to the top speed of each country's regulations. For example, in Germany that would be about 20 km/h, same in Switzerland. Here in Bulgaria the top speed is about 25 kph. Linear, super smooth acceleration, it can easily handle even rather steep hills, and just to give you context, it easily beats most of the other electric scooters in this price niche in terms of responsiveness. The nominal power of the motor is 550 watts, which, if required by law in your country, is being homologized down to the allowed maximums. It's inside the rear wheel. The biggest benefit here is the better grip, especially if you're going up some steep slopes, and up to 24% grades can be conquered by the F3 Pro. If you need a practical example, a 2 km segment with close to 150 meter elevation gained, making the incline about 7.5%, I was able to maintain speed of up to 23 km/h, and on average I was riding with 19. Of course you're gonna ask about the range. The battery inside is 477 watt-hours, but the big deal is about the voltage, 46.8, which is crucial about keeping the motor well powered even if the battery juice left is in the low states. Ninebot promised up to 70 km range, and more important, about 50 at maximum speed, which, given my 90 kilos with a backpack, I didn't exactly match, but I brought it close to 43 in city environment, and this is far beyond my expectations. I love the way the scooter gets recharged. You plug the cable in, and the display tells you at what time the battery is gonna be fully recharged. By the way, you can also set limiters via the app in case you want to get charged up to 90 or 95%. Oh, and did I mention that an external battery pack is supported as well? As for the energy recovery feature, I had to check if this is a myth or not. Here are the results at the end, measured after keeping the energy regeneration at the lowest grade. Now, let's dig deeper and figure out whether we're gonna find some other interesting details. Right out of the box, F3 Pro feels premium. In order to take it out the easy way, don't do like me. Better cut the box loose from the bottom, then pull up the cardboard instead of stressing your back to lift these close to 20 kilograms. Your only real task is to mount the handlebar and tighten the 4 screws, check the tire pressure and activate via the app. The aluminum frame is sturdy, minimalistic, surprisingly lightweight for this class. Segway nailed the folding mechanism. One latch, one click, and it's folded in under 3 seconds. It locks securely and is easy to carry, great for train commuters or storing in a car trunk. Unlike many other cheaper competitors, the welds and materials scream quality control, plus the IPX6 water resistant, which gives peace of mind in light rain. For the record, the battery is IPX7 protected. The front and the rear suspension look well integrated. There's a locking loop, which, as it turns out, acts as a great handle for pulling when folded, and Ninebot even mark areas where you can mount accessories such as action cameras. Everything thus far appears to be well thought, with a plan and an idea. Nothing is randomly positioned. It's the very same situation with the technical specs. We know about the powerful motor, the maximum speed limitations depending on the country, the battery, which is 477 watt-hours, there's front and rear suspension, range up to 70 kilometers, 10-inch tubeless self-healing tires, the weight is 19.3 kilograms, maximum load capacity up to 120, there's the front and the rear disc brake, and, of course, a smartphone app support. Reality is that if you go through just the specs, it's probably going to sound similar to many other similar e-scooters out there. I've recently tested the Xiaomi 5 Pro line and a few other models, but the thing is that the F3 Pro E gives you a very different feeling because, as usual, the user experience goes way beyond just the technical specs. It's the combination of everything that they have put together, especially those little details and the attention to these details. And I think this riding comfort and smoothness that I'm talking about, something that you really have to feel on your own, is mostly thanks to the really nicely integrated suspension. Hydraulic spring on the front, elastomer suspension on the rear. Very responsive, very quiet. Apparently these are not heavy at all, because with more hardware, the F3 Pro weighs 3 kilograms less than Xiaomi Scooter 5 Max, for instance. As for the braking, it's also confident and responsive. Unlike some similarly expensive scooters that rely on drum or electronic brakes only, the F3 Pro features dual disc brakes, one on the front, one on the rear. The setup provides excellent stopping power, even at higher speeds. But here I decided to risk and modify a little bit. By default, the left brake is the rear, the right one is for the front wheel. I wanted them reversed. So yeah, it takes a while. I've unscrewed the handles. You have to be extra gentle and extra careful with the tiny springs because you don't want to lose any of them. I also had to swap the cables, and it worked all well. Requires basic to medium mechanical skill set. In dry conditions, it comes to a halt from 25 km per hour in just a few meters without skidding. In the smartphone app, you can activate additional safety mechanisms in order to avoid wheel locks. Overall, it's a massive upgrade over most competitors, with the only extra upgrade you may wish for being a hydraulic setup, which is hard to add here, given the whole sensors being part of the handles. The tires, 10 inches, tubeless, it's a major plus. They're self-healing, meaning that they can handle minor punctures without deflating. That's huge for daily commuters, kind of a standard in the past couple of years. The grip is solid in both dry and wet conditions. Traction feels safe even when cornering. Visibility is excellent too. First of all, there's LED lamp that you can keep always on. The front LED headlight is bright, has wide beam spread. There's also a rear light that flashes during braking. Could it be even brighter? Sure, but for city use, it's more than what most riders need. Now, I gotta show you more of this. At the center of the handlebar, there's the colorful TFT display, bright and readable in daylight. It shows you speed, battery percentage, range estimations, ride mode and Bluetooth connection status, and the time. Finally, not just that, but it also can show if someone calls you via the phone or show navigation directions. It is a lot more useful than any other e-scooter display that I've tested thus far, because it has much deeper integration to the smartphone app than what you think. You can customize the riding modes, lock the scooter remotely, update the firmware over the air, and even add it to your Apple Find My network. It also tracks your rides and helps with basic diagnostics. Many other little goodies are present. The dashboard integration, which is a piece of art, all these extra customizations that you can apply, they're so nice. One of the best scooter apps out there with decent UX and Bluetooth stability. You know, thus far, it all sounds too good to be true. I told you at the start that I feel the F3 Pro E is the perfect 2025 city scooter, but maybe we can still discover some drawbacks. Well, the app requires account registration. Not a fan of this extra step, yet something that most others make you do too. And possibly, given its pro nature, the F3 is supposed to be equipped with hydraulic brakes. Any other limitations you can think of? Feel free to add in the comments below. So here are my final thoughts, and as usual, I'm gonna give you my point of view of the rating based on the price point, based on the market position and the current state of the competition, because in no way this is the most quality electric scooter out there. It's not the most powerful one. It has just a single drive unit on the rear and nothing which is too fancy or crazy great. But reality is that in this segment, about $600 to $700, and of course if we put it side by side with most of the city e-scooters that have been released in the past year, this is by far the most polished, the most reliable, the richest in terms of functionality, and the smartest electric scooters you can think of. And when it comes to reliability and the right kind of user experience, I have nothing else but admirations about the Ninebot F3 Pro E. So do I recommend it? Yes, totally. In a matter of fact, I can't think of anything that has impressed me that much in the past few months. But I know that there for sure would be people who would disagree. Therefore, I'm really curious to hear about your reasons. And if you already have the F3 Pro or the F3 Pro E, let me know about your kind of experience and story. Well, that's everything about this episode. I'm Michael, the Tech Mishka. Ride safely, wear protection, and I'm gonna see you very, very soon. Bye.